5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We have ignition.
All right, guys, tell us about before we talk about triathlons, I want to go into this story about your speeding ticket.
Dude, I got a bone to pick with the town of Shoshone. Let me tell you.
Say it again. Shoshone.
Shoshone, Wyoming.
Wyoming. Okay.
Yeah.
Go into it.
It's a racket.
Let's get this out there.
So I was, we were driving through the middle of Wyoming, heading out to Boise for this Ironman, or for this half Ironman rather. But we've been driving for like a day and 2 days at this point. Pull into a town. It's like a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit. I'm behind this truck I'd been following for the last like 10 miles. He comes to a complete stop, turns right. I go behind him. There's like a tractor trailer kind of thing, so I'm slowing down. Then we pull out of town, and then the police officer pulls out. He comes up behind me, and I'm thinking like, oh, I guess there's someone up the road that must be speeding. So I pull over just to let him pass, and then he pulls off behind me. And it was like something straight out of like a TV show. He's like, comes up to the car. You can just tell like from the first word out of his mouth that he's kind of full of it. Yeah. But I comply. I'm completely like, yeah, you have like, he said, I saw you going 42 and a 30. And I said to him, I'm like, you have the radar gun. So if you saw me going 42, I was going 42. I'm not going to deny it. You got the evidence.
Yeah.
He kind of got weird when I said that. Like when I mentioned the radar gun, you could tell. I don't think he actually radared my car.
Yeah.
And then anyways, he's like, I got you going 42, but I'll write you a ticket for 36 and a 30. And he says to me as he's walking away, he's like, do you like school? And I was like, oh, like I love school. Yeah. Just trying to be like, whatever, be a good boy.
Yeah.
But anyways, he comes back and he says, here's your ticket, 36 and a 30. It's like $120. If you pay another $25, you can take our online class. It's 20 minutes. It's super easy. He's like, an 80-year-old woman did this last week. She figured it out in 20 minutes and was on her way. And if you do this, we won't report the ticket to your home state.
Yeah.
So you avoid the points on your license and any insurance implications. So then he walks away, and then as he's standing there, he starts like chatting me up. He's like, oh, like, where are you going? What are you doing? And I'm like, he saw the bike in the back of the car. I'm like, oh, like we're going to an Ironman or a triathlon in Boise. And he starts going like, oh, like you ever think about doing law enforcement? I'm like, first of all, dude, like if you're trying to sell me on law enforcement right now, it's not a particularly good time.
This isn't a good look.
Yeah, I'm not exactly ready to serve right now.
Not switching over right now.
But like, he's like, he's kind of like chatting us up a little bit. And he kept making comments about Hannah too. That was bothering me.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, because he was like, oh, like, you see your boss in the passenger seat. Like she's gonna be on your case about this. I'm like, dude, just
geez.
like,
okay.
But it was classic small town stuff. Anyway, then like two cars go driving by us, and he's like, oh, look at these guys, they're flying. And I like turn and look. It's just like two cars going like 25 miles an hour. But they're not flying.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I got to get this guy. And he obviously wasn't radaring this guy because he was standing there talking to me.
Yeah.
And he like runs in the car and pulls off. And then he pulls over the following car. So there was two cars that passed, like a truck in front and then a little like sedan behind.
Yeah.
And he pulls over the sedan because he just like, it was clearly just a shot in the dark. He had no evidence or whatever. So yeah, then we pull off and we're like, as we're leaving town, we see he's got the next guy pulled over. And then we go to the website he gave us and we register for this 20-minute class. And it immediately says like, this is a 4-hour course.
Oh my goodness,
on the first page of the course, the first thing it says is like, all Wyoming police officers are trained to estimate speed by eyesight within 1 to 2 miles an hour. So apparently like they can just pull you over based on observing, not based on any kind of like radar. And we were joking because we're like, so if he can estimate within 2 miles an hour, why did he say I was going 42 and then write me a ticket for 36? That's not 2 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's 6 miles an hour off. This guy sucks, man. And then what's the per capita thing you were talking about?
Oh, so then I like Googled it afterwards. I'm like, all right, what's going on in Shoshone here? Because I was like, I called their office. I'm like,
Shoshone, if everyone listening.
I'm like, I want to talk to the chief of police. Like, there's something going on. This cop is like I think this is like fraud. Like, I don't think like what he's doing is complete nonsensical. And then I find like a website or an article written last year, and it said that they cut the most tickets per capita of like any town in the country. I can try to find it, but
so ridiculous.
And like the police officer was interviewed, and like I just it's one of those things where when you read that, I'm like, all right, this is going to be a huge pain to try to fight, because they clearly have, they got articles being written about their kind of racket that they're running.
Is that like their only revenue source? So like anyone that comes through, let's go ahead and hammer down because we can't make any money, right?
It's gotta be. And they pull the classic, like they put the drivers in the worst spot. Cause like the first thing they know that like I think they know what they're doing is kind of like, BS.
Yeah.
Because like their entire test, they're like antagonizing you from the start of this quiz you take, where their like sample case study is like, oh, like Joe Moneybags is driving from New York to California through Wyoming.
Yeah.
And they literally call the guy Joe Moneybags. And they're like, he doesn't care. He's like, time is money. He doesn't care. He's speeding through our town. And then you have to answer the question. The only way, so each page of this test has a time limit on top, and you have to stay on that page for that allotted time before it lets you click to the next page.
What?
And then you have to take a quiz. And it's a multiple choice quiz, you don't know how many answers to select. Anywhere from 1 to 5.
Yeah.
They don't tell you how many are correct. And they're completely subjective. Like every page is completely subjective.
Yeah.
And if you get them wrong, they kick you back to the last page and make you wait your allotted time again. So you'll have like 5 minutes on a page, click to the next. You get one wrong, you got to go back to the previous page.
Oh my God.
Sit there for another 5. Dude, it's insane. Like it's literally so ridiculous.
All to get to a triathlon. This was the event that we had to get through.
This was the...
We got to let the people know that there's a problem in this place. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. If you're driving through Shoshone, I guess just get out of your car and walk for a couple miles.
So they eyeball. So like, okay, how fast were you going? Do you know?
I was.
You were going like 25
behind 2 trucks. I'm like, I don't know what I was going, but I'm like,
you were not going 40.
I'm like, I was literally pulled to a stop for a guy going into. And then when he asked me, he's like, "Do you know how fast you're going?" I'm like, I was. I mean, why are you pulling me over? Like I was behind that blue truck.
Yeah.
And I was like at a stop. I was basically standing still. I pulled up 2 blocks. Like there's no way that was enough a speed for me to be going 42. I was just following the traffic too, like through this town.
Dude, that's ridiculous. I mean,
and I was behind it. There was a semi truck and like some other kind of, I don't know, like oil tanker or something behind it. And I was like behind those 2 cars and he pulls me over. I'm like in the middle of a line of cars when he pulls me over after being at a complete stop, basically.
Do you think he saw your license plate and
I think
just
he saw
decided, okay,
I'm like, it's got to be one of 2 things. Either he saw a different car and pulled me over, like pulled the wrong car over, or he just saw that I was Wisconsin. And he's got, I mean, the way they've built this system, he's completely defended because this town is already pulling over. They give out 3,000 speeding tickets a year in this town.
Yeah.
The population of this town is 500.
Yeah. So this was our goal is like, we gotta hammer anything that we see from anyone that's from Wisconsin or anyone that's from...
He completely fabricated my speed. He had no... Because then I called them. I'm like, yeah, I'd like you to pull the dash cam and the officer body cam. And like, I'd like proof that I was going that fast. And they never... Like, the woman said that they'll call me back last week. And then we got busy with the whole race week.
Yeah.
Just got back a couple... Like, whatever, late the night before last.
Yeah. Nothing. They didn't respond.
No, they never called back.
Well, it's never. They're not going to.
I mean, they probably have a line of 3,000 people with the same complaint.
Jeez. Our local police, I don't feel like do that, right? So that's kind of weird. No. I mean,
but it makes you realize like how much the like individuals in your local police department define the whole relationship, right? Like if they're making things up and like running this kind of racket, I mean that you can see how it would ruin like a whole town's perception of police. Whereas, I mean, I think our town is very, like, I trust the police in our town. They're pretty fair and consistent. So
totally different, right? Like you're not getting set up for speeding tickets or, hey, I think I saw that guy going that fast, so let's stop him and then let's badger him a little bit. Let's try to see if he does something, right?
Yeah,
Does
it's
he
effectively
say
blackmail.
something?
I mean, it's basically blackmail. They give you this ticket for $120, and they say we're going to report it.
Yeah.
Unless you give us $30 more and take our online test. Then we won't tell anybody about this ticket we made up.
That's weird.
It's very
That's
weird.
really weird.
Very weird.
Okay. Do you have anything else you want to say about it? Because
no, I mean,
it's like get it off the chest. Let's get this on the airwaves.
That was just it. I wanted to call it, like, part of you wants to just get, like, you know, you're kind of like, my civic duty is to fight this because I also, like, the guy after me, I'm like, I saw him pull over the next guy who was not speeding.
Yeah.
But then it's like you come home. I think that the reason why it works is because people like me, you know, you get back home the next week and you're like, man, it's $100. Like, am I really going to waste?
Yeah. They just kind of let it go. You can keep letting it go. Keep letting it go.
Yeah. So at a certain point, you gotta decide.
Also, you're gonna fly back to Wyoming and fight it, right?
Yeah, that's
like,
what I asked
yeah.
the county or the clerk in there in the police department. I'm like, can you give me a Zoom link for this for this trial date? And she's like, no, we don't do Zoom. You have to be in.
Yeah, of course.
Back in Wyoming.
Well, that's their whole tactic too, right? Like you're not coming back to Wyoming, and they know that, right?
Yeah.
That's their little revenue boost, quick and
such a racket.
Such a racket. We're not saying, get rid of the police. We're just saying this is pretty crazy corruption. That's crazy. To me,
that's what frustrates me the most about it is I'm like, I hate when you see something that justifies other wrong behavior or whatever. Like with all the things with policing and the controversy, I'm like, in general, I'm very much like, I respect the sacrifice and the work that police officers, law enforcement do in our country. And it's like, well, then you see somebody who's like flying in the face of that, who's actually like acting in a corrupt kind of way. Yeah. And you're like, man, like it's doubly frustrating. Because on the one hand, it's like, I get dinged for this, now I have to deal with this. On the other hand, it's like, dude, the way that you're running this department and the way that like this little racket you've built for yourself, it's like that is corroding the whole thing for like anyone, like, because now, you know, anyone that drives through that town and has that experience, it just kind of justifies this whole like, oh, police are corrupt. Yeah. And it bothers me, right? Because it's like, why? I guess
it plays into some of the stuff that you're seeing on the news. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's like, oh crap, like that actually happened to me, right?
Yeah. It's like, I hate to see that. I'm like, dang.
Because you don't want that to happen to you. Yeah. You don't want to have it be like, this is real. Oh shit. Like I've been defending the police. Yeah. 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 You and I both defend the police, obviously, but it's just like, that's unfortunate with corruption of, and this happens in a lot of different ways, but, if that came to our local area, that'd be very weird because I feel like our police here are so good and do a good job. And I really haven't seen too much of that kind of stuff locally, but, the news, the national news with Madison, I know there was some stuff. So,
how about Tony Romo this last week?
And Tony Romo. Yeah. So I looked into it a little bit. Obviously I don't know, too much further, but it's like he was drinking. I'm not sure how much, but like, it's like, okay, I get it. But was that, I hope it was all, fair. And I hope all of it was pretty clean because obviously Tony Romo is a pretty big name in our media. So I hope no one pulled him over and then it's like, it's kind of this corruption thing, right? Yeah. I have no idea on him if it was, but I know people are very fired up about, Madison police, and there's some other stuff going on too. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that one, you got to wait for all the information to come out. Yeah. It's just.
I'll be honest about Romo. I don't want him to lose his job because I like Romo. I like him on football games. So it's like, I did see that. I was a little bit surprised, but also like, I think it said he came from a golf event. Yeah. Okay, like how many people left a golf event that day that had been drinking? And of course, like Tony Romo is the one that got caught. He got caught. But I think a lot of people do that, right? They're going to this event or that event. They're leaving, drink a few beers or whatever it may be. And obviously they're like, oh, well, I've never gotten pulled over before. So a lot of people take those risks, right? But anyways, I just hope for Romo, like it was a one-off. Okay, get back to doing what I do well. Hopefully it's not like a sign of things to come, because sometimes you see that too where, they get caught and they're like, oh, this has been happening a lot more than it should, right? So I hope that's not Tony Romo's thing.
No, I mean, it looked, I saw like the body cam video. Yeah. I mean, it's impossible to tell. He didn't look like he was, egregiously drunk. Okay. But who knows like why the officer was pulling him over. Yeah. But just one of those things. Yeah. Like, I mean, it's brutal when you're in his position, because it's like, even, there's very little positive that can happen once you get pulled over, right? Yeah. It's like you got to just go along with whatever the officer is pulled you over for. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It was interesting. The body cam footage, like he got pulled over and he wanted to call his lawyer. The officer was saying, you can't call your lawyer. You have to get out of the car and do this test. And it was like he was then I think they took him back to a police station, and he did like the whole, he was like stretching for the test and doing the test. And I mean, they had him for a while. It was, I don't know. We'll see what the jury ends up saying, I guess.
Yeah.
It is interesting to me though that they can already release the body cam footage like just a couple days later.
Yeah.
And I think it's already like publicly available.
Do you think that leads to accountability, or do you think that's kind of weird, too much?
I think that's honestly too much.
Too much,
I think that kind of infringes on your rights, in my opinion. Like if you're getting pulled over and then because they know you're Tony Romo, they can release all the body cam footage publicly. Like that doesn't seem right to me until there's, I don't know if he's already gone through his trial. Like I understand why like evidence needs to be on the public record for just like accountability for the police officers.
Yeah.
At the same time, for like a private citizen, it is a little bit weird that they're publishing it while there's maybe still things in flight.
Like almost like they're setting them up a little bit. I mean,
yeah, and like also depending on what's in those files, right? Like it can affect his job. It can affect his.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a little. I feel like it just gets a little weird when you're a public figure where that is so important.
I just hope he doesn't lose his job, because I do actually really enjoy him. And if you look back, even last year, Mark Sanchez had something happen with him, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure he lost his job now. But it's like, man, who knows? Like that's the hard part with all the media and all the stuff is the coverage is there. So if you do one thing wrong, it's like, man, you're done. And I don't know if I'm a big fan of that, because again, it's like, yeah, that guy made a mistake. I get it. But if you were just like a general, like I work at Milwaukee Tool, or if you have a normal job, yes, I mean, they don't love that, but you're not going to get sliced. You're not going to get fired, I don't think, right? So I don't love that they put it out there and they go crazy with the information. Because again, it's like Tony Romo, yes, okay, he was drinking after a golf event and or during the golf event, whatever. I don't know what was going on, but he came, got on his car, tried to go home. It wasn't completely slosh by any means, but okay, maybe there was a risk to the society. Okay, I get it. But it's like now that shit's all out there, everyone's going to have that perception of Tony Romo that, it's almost like this negative view for no reason. Yeah. If you just worked at Milwaukee Tool, the police aren't going to release that. Your coworkers, I mean, they could read it in the paper potentially, but it's like that's not really national news unless obviously something really bad happens. So I just feel more bad on that side. Like they just leak everything, like everything that you do as a person of importance, which that might lead us to like, should we even try to be in the media's frame, because it's a little bit scary, like if you go for politics and you try to be a senator, holy crap, like they're going to come after you if you're trying to be any position of power. They're going to dig into every little detail that you ever did, right? It's like, and this happens NFL draft. They'll look back at a guy's 16-year-old post on Facebook. Yeah. I'm like, I mean, I get it, right? But like, that's kind of goofy to me. But
yeah, I mean, the way I like kind of rationalize it, I'm like, anybody that's going to be that reactive to like one piece of information, they're just looking for reasons to not like you, or like.
But there's going to be one thing that you're not going to like about us, right? Like
everybody. I mean, there's things you don't like about everybody, and there's things you like about everybody. Yeah. It's part of what makes us all human.
Yeah.
But it is like, I think it does take some thick skin to kind of weather those storms when they come, because when someone's coming at you in today's world with the internet and it's so easy to spin a narrative or to tell a story. And if someone chooses to put you in their crosshairs and tell a particular story, like you're going to have to weather that. And you just hope that with enough time, like your whole body of work and everything you're doing, kind of reflects who you are. Because, I don't think Tony Romo is a guy that's got a drinking problem that's causing problem or, creating danger or whatever. But it was just, wrong place, wrong time. Made a bad decision. Yeah. And next thing you know, it's just he's got to deal with the spotlight for a few weeks until the next news cycle comes.
Yeah. Well, it will disappear. Okay. And I just hope he doesn't lose his job. We see him on, the NFL stuff on CBS, and I get to see him talk about football because I really enjoy him. This has happened to a lot of like famous people in the media. They do that one thing wrong. I mean, it happened to Michael Irvin had something happen as well. It was like 2 years ago, and I really liked him, and he was great. He was on the NFL Network, and I think he got accused of something. It was not, I think it ended up not being true. But anyways, he got fired. So he moves to a different network, changes jobs and all this stuff. I'm like, that's so unfortunate. It's like that guy, because they thought he did something, got fired.
Yeah.
And I mean, Tony Romo, it's different, I guess, because with the blood test, they can say, hey, this happened. But I think, Michael Irvin's was something with, maybe a domestic violence thing, which is what we're seeing with Josh Jacobs, with the Packers. It's like, it's all out there now, right? So that's the hard part is if you're an NFL player, an NBA player, or anybody that, the media covers, even if you didn't do anything, it's out there, man. Like you look bad to most people. I'm one of those people, though, that with Josh Jacobs especially, I want to see what the information says when actually, if it goes to trial. If it doesn't go to trial and it's just like, yeah, we settled it outside of the court and we're good. It's like, okay, what really happened there? That's what I'm always wondering with a lot of this stuff. These guys make a lot of money, so it's sometimes that's what is part of it, right? They're just, people are coming at them and it's not always true. Like I just listened to the GM of the Packers talk yesterday, and one of the reporters asked him, like, okay, what's going on with Josh Jacobs, right? I mean, it's a setup question. Like, they're trying to make Goody say something. No. He's like, oh, he looked good. He's on the field. He's looking solid. And then they try to talk about legal stuff. He's like, listen, he's on the field. The legal stuff will play itself out. And I think this is happening a lot with, especially professional sports. People are throwing their allegations at people, and then when it doesn't come true, it's not actually what happened. Unfortunately, Josh Jacobs forever will be like that guy that, did that thing to a lot of people, even though he didn't. So, I'm always one, like if it gets proven in courts, obviously we'll have a different opinion, but I think a lot of people they're good people. Sometimes they have money. Maybe they had this one wrong thing happen. And you just hope that they can get through that and move forward. Right. So, now, if it's bad enough, if you murder someone, that's different. Okay, I'm talking just like little things that people throw. If you murder someone and you're convicted, okay, they're way different. I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking more of these small claims. Where it's like, okay, that might have happened, that might not have happened. It's a he said, she said kind of situation. You do find a lot of times those guys get off, and I'm not saying it's because they're always innocent, but I think in this case, Josh Jacobs right now, nothing has been charged. Goody, I'm just saying what Goody said. He's like, he's on the field. We'll deal with it as we deal with it. Jordan Love got asked about it as well. He's like, I love that Josh is here. He's working hard. So it's funny when you listen to these guys talk, it's all they're protecting their player. Yep. They're not out there like, he's guilty. So, I kind of like that, the team perspective of all this stuff. But anyways.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard any of the details on Josh Jacobs in particular, but for me, it's always like innocent until proven guilty. You have to.
It has to be, right?
It's so easy to.
But the media doesn't like that now. Like,
well, because by the time they go to trial and they prove the fact of the matter, it's no longer a hot topic. So that's when you're in the public eye, it's like the allegations that's the news, right?
Yeah.
Someone says,
they jumped all over Josh.
Yeah,
it was pathetic to me though. That's what we're saying. I think. They jumped all over Josh, and it's like, wonder if he's innocent, because it's like none of that was proven. The media came after his ass, and now everyone that doesn't understand that maybe this is not a true story, they're all gonna just remember that Josh Jacobs, did this thing to this girl, and they're I hate the NFL because they let these guys back in, or that kind of story, right? Yeah. Or Romo, like, they'll jump over that too. It's like, again. Let it play out. You don't know all the details, right? Like, let's not jump on these guys, which is so annoying with the media because they don't let things actually work themselves out and what actually happened. The Ray Rice, I remember this too. So Ray Rice, there was a video, he hit a woman and he was done with the NFL. The NFL never let him back in because there was video evidence and a lot of things happened with that. That was a true case of like, hey, we have all this evidence that's out there. The media, came after him basically. Okay, that's different. Like there is a video. There's proof. There's proof that this happened and it looks really bad. And I don't condone it. So I agree. The NFL said, yeah, you're never coming back to the NFL. Yep. The problem with Josh Jacobs, allegations are similar. Okay, there's domestic violence or something that happened. there's no video. So now it's just all claims, right? So I guess my point is, if there's a video and something looks really egregious, okay, I get it. You might put it out there. But even in that situation, it's like, it is weird, like you said with Romo. Why is that being put out there? The body cam. Why is that out there for people to see? I just feel like that's really setting people up for negative opinions when maybe Romo wasn't drunk. Maybe he was just kind of, a little bit loopy, but he's fine driving. He wasn't doing anything wrong. It's just, you set up people for failure, I would say. So I don't love the media for this stuff, but
and then in the Tony Romo case, my opinion actually is that I do think the body camera video helps him because he was,
there you go. Yeah.
He was coherent. He was able to like form sentences. You could just tell that like the only thing people could knock him for is he like was a bit resistant to get out of the car because he was like, can I call my lawyer first? But you kind of have to respect that when you're in his position, you have to be thoughtful about how you're going through it. Right. Cause you never know who the person is who's actually pulling you over, right? Like it could be someone trying to, or who recognizes you and wants a shot to, whatever. So, in his case, I do think that the body cam footage will help, but I do think it's kind of weird to be releasing it while we still don't know all the facts of the case, why he was pulled over, whether he was actually drunk or not. That was just kind of, I think, what bothered me, but I don't know. I think he'll be fine. I don't imagine this will lead to any sort of like issue with his career. I think, it just seemed like a pretty standard. Maybe a guy had a couple beers and got pulled over, and then just because he's famous and because they're willing to release the tapes,
became a big
hot
story.
Topic. Yeah.
Honestly, how many people have done that, right? That's the bigger story is like
in Wisconsin. It's so common, which is a different topic, but I even just like appreciate the fact that he still comes back to Wisconsin and plays in the state amateur every year.
That is cool.
Like he was playing in the state amateur golf tournament, just because it's a hobby of his and he's like a part of that community. I think it's cool he comes back and plays, and it's cool for guys that qualify for that tournament. Like you never know, you could draw a tee time with Tony Romo.
Yeah,
hometown
hero, baby.
yeah. I was gonna say like I've thought about trying to qualify for that tournament. I haven't tried in 10 years, but I saw some friends that like try to qualify every year. Some have played in it recently. And it's cool that you can, Tony Romo will be there if you go. Yeah. So,
and Matt Goggins, the local hero
I'm not
as well.
qualifying. I'm not good enough anymore. Maybe one of these years if I get back in the game, but
you will, dude. Right now, so you're busy with triathlons, okay?
Yeah.
I actually love that we started with what we talked about. That was kind of fun, different, different talk, but. Okay, so you're going through Shoshone, Wyoming, right?
Yeah, we made it out of Shoshone with all four wheels.
Corruption, Shoshone. So you get to Boise. Tell me about Boise and how things went for you.
So it was quite a day. So there first, it was leading up to it. I was checking the weather every day. As it got closer and closer, that high temperature just kept going up and up and up. Ultimately, it was over 100 degrees for most of the race. The other thing was there was a bunch of fires in Oregon. So I was checking like the air quality every day, like, oh, is it going to get bad? Yeah. Luckily on our race day, it was like mid hundreds. So like, yellow on like the little, green to black thing. It's like not great air quality, but I definitely felt it a little bit in my lungs, but like it was fine. It was actually the day after that it got really bad. Okay. You could like smell smoke in the air. But anyways, so on race day, like the conditions were a little, it was going to be hot. So get up at 3 a.m., get on the shuttle, go up to the race start, which was up in kind of the mountains, on this kind of mountain lake reservoir outside of Boise. Plan is you're going to swim there, then you do a bike out into the kind of the countryside, back into downtown Boise where you do your run. So we're on the start line for the swim, waiting. Like literally, everyone's in their wetsuit, ready to go. It's 6:30. Been up for 3.5 hours now. It's still probably like 80 degrees, ready to get started. And when we're sitting there waiting, there's a fair amount of chop in the water. They tell us that for the non-professionals, they're canceling the swim as we're standing on the start line. So they say
my
we're
goodness.
canceling the
Okay.
swim.
I haven't talked to you about this at all, so go ahead. Sorry.
So I mean,
That's
this is on the
shocking.
line.
That's
We're on the
shocking.
line in the wetsuit, right? Like literally everything's all ready to go. You know, I ate my meal when I wanted to eat my meal. I'm ready to go. Like I'm in kind of the right energy state, right? And then instead they're going to do a rolling bike start. They're going to have the pros swim.
Okay.
When the pros are done swimming, they're going to go bike. Then they're going to do the age group athletes in the order of bib number doing a bike start. So they're going to have they have 2 people starting every 5 seconds. And my bib number was 12:44. So I take off the wetsuit.
Oh my god.
And then I have about a 2-hour wait before I can start.
So dude, you're just sitting there like, what is going on right now?
Yeah. And as I'm sitting there, like, you know, we kind of get into our bike stuff. We're not swimming anymore. You kind of, you know, you just got to suck it up. The swim was actually the one I was most excited for. I was feeling really good about my swim. And what's nice about the swim too is that like if you're a faster swimmer or slower, you kind of get staggered on your bike start. So you tend to be with people that are generally your level of fitness, right? Like roughly your speed. Yeah. And I'm actually a much better swimmer than I am a biker or a runner. So it's nice because I would have started with kind of faster bikers and it would have been others passing me more so than like me passing others.
Gotcha.
Anyways, we get to the bike. I wait, and at around 8:30, I start my bike. So 2 hours after the swim start was supposed to be, I start my bike. At that point, it's, you know, low 90s temperature wise. Start the bike. The first hour and a half, I actually felt great. You know, it was going well. After about an hour and a half, I think the heat kind of started to catch up with me. I finished the bike in like 3 hours and 9 minutes. So it was like,
if people don't know, how far did you go?
56 miles.
56 miles. Yep.
Yeah. So the bike, honestly, on the whole, the bike was pretty good. But with about 10 miles left, I kind of started to get some leg cramps. Honestly, I could tell that the run was going to be brutal because by the time I got off the bike, it was, you know, like 102 degrees.
Oh my God.
We had just been, it was over 100 for probably the last half of that bike. And, you know, you're out on the road in like the desert basically because around Boise, it's effectively like a desert.
Okay.
And you're just on that asphalt. You can smell the asphalt melting. You're just cooking. But it was a lot of fun. Like it's also, you know, there's so many people doing it.
You're
there's
sick.
Like a big community in it. Well, you feel pretty normal because there's so many people doing it right there with you, right? Yeah. And dude, we see those pros. Those pros fly. The guy that won it did the whole thing in 3.5 hours. His average bike pace was almost 30 miles an hour. And his run pace was like a 5-10 minute mile.
Oh my goodness.
Like that. I mean, and that's just in 100. To be fair, like they started earlier. So by the time he finished, like he kind of finished before any of the heat. Okay. Yeah. Because he starts at 6:30. He's done by 10 o'clock. I'm halfway
Which is actually kind of nice, right?
Yeah. I'm halfway through my bike when he's finishing. Not that I'm anywhere like sniffing his times, but it is nice that they get those guys out there first. And it's so impressive how fast those guys can go. But yeah, anyways, finish the bike and then I get on my feet. Like from the first step of the run, I was like, oh boy, this is gonna be brutal. Okay. Like I had quad cramps, like literally on, you know, from step one on the run. Okay. I just took it like low and slow. Again, it was over 100 degrees. You're just dumping ice down, you know, down the back of your shirt. They had an aid station every mile. They had like ice buckets to put your arms in to help cool you down. People spraying you the whole time. Oh, jeez. So, you know, I just went super slow the whole run. I ended up doing like 2 hour, 40 something minute. I mean, I was just going 5 miles an hour. I was like walking, running, mixing just to keep the heart rate. It was like I'd run until my heart rate got to like.
How was your heart rate? Was it?
It was. I mean, it was high. It was so hot. It was like I'd run until I was at like a 170, then I'd walk, and I'd run, and then I walk. There was just no way I was even gonna sustain a running pace. I didn't have the fitness for that heat, honestly. So it was a learning experience in that way because I'm like, all right, what do I have to do to actually get better at these things? It's pretty clear to me. I just have to really work on my running. I got to lose some weight. I got to get lighter, and I have to just like hammer the run because I'm like okay at running, but I don't have the level of running fitness to tolerate a half marathon at running pace in 100-degree heat.
There you go.
Especially coming off of a 50-mile bike. So yeah, but you know, at the end of the day, I finished, got it done. And the one thing I was proud of was like, even though I was slow, I was the same speed throughout the whole race. So
consistent,
like,
right?
Yeah, I was, 5 miles an hour the whole time. And like, it is what it is.
How'd you feel like when you finished the race? What was your feeling?
So I was, you have like the adrenaline rush when you cross the finish line. And about 5 minutes after, I started to get like some serious heat. Yeah. Like Hannah looked at me. She's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" You don't really know where you started.
You didn't pass out though.
No, I didn't pass out, but there was a minute where I didn't really know where I was. You know, we were kind of, you're like trying to catch your breath. And the thing is in 100-degree heat, like you can't really catch your breath. Cause like even when the running stops, it feels like you're in a sauna. So like, you're still just like, you're trying anything you can to get your temperature down and to just kind of.
Did you jump in ice? What'd you do?
Just dumping water down my head and sitting in the shade. But after like an hour, honestly, like probably 2 hours after the race, I was like, okay, if I had to, I could get up and keep running right now. So that was at least a good thing. And we have this full in a few weeks. This was sobering in the sense that like I'm realizing just how far this full is going to be.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm actually like, I think it's a blessing in disguise that it was so hot because even if I get 80 degrees for the full, I'm going to feel confident because I'll be like, wow, this is so much. Like if I could survive the half and 100, if it's 75 and like a nice September day for Madison, I'm going to be feeling great. Like I'm going to be, it's good. It builds that callus for like, the heat was a variable that I hadn't really trained for, and now I've survived a race in it.
And it's hard to, you do your best. You're in Wisconsin. Some days are hot, some days aren't, right? But so you finished your race, like you said, you took about an hour to 2 hours. Okay, I feel a little bit better. Can you, again, if people have never listened, you have to swim how far for the full? How far do you have to go for the bike, and how far do you have to run?
The swim's going to be 2.4 miles. The bike is going to be 112 miles, and then the run is a marathon, so 26.2.
Okay.
So, I know like what my times are going to be basically, assuming that like nothing catastrophic happens. It'll be like I'll be around 14 hours for the full. That's just the reality. And so it's like get the first one done, and then what I really want to do is just figure out how to get faster from there. Yeah. And like I said, the big thing for me is going to be just running. So like I think when this is done, I'm just going to focus a lot more on running.
Okay.
Because the swim and the bike, I feel pretty decent. I also, I realize there's still like a lot of work I can do on my bike handling. That's the cool thing when you go to these races is you see everyone from a professional down to a first timer.
Yeah.
And you just realize that like the ceiling in terms of your bike handles is so much higher than what I thought when I'm just going on these rides myself, right? Like, I mean, even to just be able to get nutrition from stations, you got to be able to use both hands and grab stuff and put it. You got to be thinking about like.
Gotcha.
And I think that's another place where I just know that I can make up a lot of potential time is just get better at handling, so it's easier to get the nutrition down consistently as I'm going, and maybe kind of reorient some of the things on my bike to help with that. But yeah, I mean, for me, the biggest thing is, I'm still 235, 240. I gotta lose some weight if I'm going to keep doing these things.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, no, it's fun. It's good to get, it's nice to get it done, to finish the race and beat the heat, or at least survive the heat. So
yeah. Super impressive. Mentally though, how hard was it? Like they canceled the swim because it was like, obviously you came into the race knowing something could happen, right? You just don't know what. They canceled the swim, which is probably not what you were thinking. You're probably thinking about all these other things. You're like, what? Like you're canceling the swim? Yeah. The hell, man. Like I thought that'd be my jam. I'd be feeling good.
I was excited for the swim too, because we got up there and it was choppy. To be fair, the water was choppy. And I was like, hey, that's like an advantage for me. I feel good on the swim. Like this doesn't bother me too much. Yeah. I'm comfortable in the water. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. Like maybe this one will be a little bit slower, make you a little more tired. But if anything, for me, that's fun. Like that's the exciting part of it. But yeah, I mean, when they canceled it, there's the first 10 minutes you're like, is this like a joke? Are they just, is this some big practical joke? Like, are they going to tell us like, actually it's back on? Yeah. I just wish they would have even just had us do 200 yards. Like just have us do a quick, like,
just do something.
Just get us in the water.
Why did you train
right?
so much to swim when you're like, damn it,
And then, some people, a lot of people are upset because they're like, well, this kind of disqualifies this whole race. It's not really a half Ironman. I'm still calling it my half Ironman. Like we put the wetsuit on, stood there. I think if anything, it was harder to have to sit there in the heat for 2 hours before starting.
And just wait.
Yeah, rather than like getting in and getting your body moving and just going. I mean, I was bummed, but you know, it's like we talked about so many times, you got to be ready for that. Like you can't let yourself get emotional. It's just like, okay, this is what's happening. So let's focus on the bike.
Yeah.
It was a little intimidating because the first mile of the bike is an extreme descent. Like you're up in this mountain to be in this reservoir. First thing you do is go downhill. So like the first mile, you're going like 40 miles an hour straight down the hill.
Oh, geez.
Like down a mountain. And a part of me was like, man, I would have rather had the swim to like loosen my body up a little bit before you're just flying down this mountain.
How close were you to the next people? Were people on top of you?
So it was a 1-lane road. They had the left lane closed. The right lane was cars. And they had the bikers going down the left lane down the mountain. So you're just thinking like, don't fall. Because if you fall into that right lane into the traffic, it's game over. And they were decent about it. Like they had like a beeper like every 5 seconds, and they would release 2 bikers every 5 seconds. So you had like one kind of person you were biking with.
Yeah.
But then again, it was like because they did a bib number based start, there was a huge variance. So you have people that are like near professional next to people that are scraping to finish. And
so that didn't really make
so
a
like
lot
there's
of
so
sense,
much.
but
And also like for me, I was looking at it as like, okay, I'm going to try to, my goal on the bike is pass as many people as I can. And that went really well the first hour and a half. And honestly, just with the heat, I kind of ran into a wall. But I was feeling like that first hour, I felt great. I felt like I was just flying by people. Like it was building my confidence. Like on the whole, it's like, I just learned so much through that race. Primarily just like, I did push throughout the bike. I've realized that like my top bike speed is actually really good. It's just a matter of all of the, continuing to put in the work so I can move that pace more often. Right.
Yeah. Hold endurance. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't think I realized that like on a flat, because it's nice when you're actually out on this like course, because it's so flat and wide open for a lot of the race. Like if you get up and you start pumping your legs, you can hit like 30 miles an hour. It's just a matter of figuring out how to sustain that. And I really know, like, if I ever want to do that, what I have to do is just lose weight and keep going. So yeah, I mean, it felt pretty good. And again, the run was just awful. Like I knew the run was going to be awful. It was awful.
Yeah.
I think it's honestly a different sport if it's 70 degrees out versus 100 degrees.
You go like 30 minutes faster probably on the run if it's not as hot.
Yeah, I think if it's average temperature, I think I'm around.
That's so hard,
just over
right?
2 hours.
Because you're like, damn, I could have gone faster. It's just that's what I had to do in that moment, right?
So, like if I would have tried to run at my normal pace, I probably would have died. Like I actually would have died.
Your heart would have said no.
Yeah, like my body just couldn't. I don't even think because of the heat, there wasn't even a world where I could have moved it. Like I would have just my legs would have seized up. I would have fallen over. Like I just couldn't do it. But what's good about it is like I ended up spending almost 6 hours on just those 2 legs, and I did that in 100-degree heat. Like I don't think the conditions are gonna get more challenging. So it's like now I have that notch in my belt, right? It's like I know how to survive this on this kind of day.
Yeah.
And I know where I'm at. I know what I have to work on. It's like, okay, now let's just keep iterating. Like we got dinner the night after. We were sitting next to a guy that he got like 20 something place.
Oh, wow.
The whole thing.
Okay.
And he was about mid to late 50s. And
wow.
We said to him, like, well, like, what's your secret? Like, what's your advice? And he was like, they never get easier. You just get more efficient. He's like, every time you do one of these things, you're going to push just as hard. It's going to hurt just as bad. Just every time you do it, you figure out a few new things and you just get better and you just keep doing that.
Which makes total sense, right? I mean, and if you can do that in your 30s versus your 50s, I mean, now maybe I can compete at a high level if I want to, right?
Yeah.
That's cool. It's like, it's fun to hear you learn so much because I mean, that's anything we do. We talked on this podcast actually about that exact thing, right? We kind of knew you'd go in, you'd be like, okay, I got to figure out some stuff, but it's fun, right? You get to learn in the moment. You get to feel it. You get to, push as hard as you can, but like, okay, I had to change my pace. It just had to happen. Nutrition, I had my 100 grams of carbs per hour. I bonked a little bit. My heart rate was high. The heat was killing me. But at least I had my nutrition. At least I had some electrolytes, my salts, whatever I needed, I had it. I was okay with that end. And I could survive it, right? So I guess you learn that, right? You learn that I could do the nutrition, electrolytes, and still sustain myself to get to the finish line, right?
Yeah. And I also just like shout out to all the people that were volunteering and working at the race are awesome. That's my favorite thing about the Ironman is just like, there's so much support, both from like the crowd and also the people just working the event and like the aid stations on the run. Like every mile they were like, an all you can fuel buffet.
That's awesome.
Which is great. Like you run in, you're taking water, dumping it on you, you're taking their electrolytes, drinking them. They got bars, they got pretzels, they got fruit, they got Coca-Cola.
Truly saving lives because of that too, right?
And then they got ice buckets. It's like literally
no one died on this one.
Not as far as I know. I haven't actually looked.
Yeah. Because people do die doing triathlons.
I think if they had a full, that was genuinely a risk.
They probably should have canceled, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was hot. Like it was really hot. There was one guy that I was like that I passed with a few miles left and he was like, man, I feel like I'm like heat stroking out. And it's like,
that's what I would worry about is like that kind of stuff where, someone does drive themselves to a point where they can't sustain it and then they pass out.
Yeah. Well, especially like you have people that never train at 100 degrees. They don't really know like the symptoms or don't really know how to account for it. And
your body just shuts down. I mean, it's like, that's my concern with anything with triathlons or long distance events, right? It's like, as long as like, I love what you said, is like, you had to change your pace. You were looking at your heart rate. Yeah. You had, hey, I'm doing carbs, I'm doing electrolytes. I'm really focusing on this stuff. Imagine if someone wasn't doing some of that stuff and they're like, I'm just going to see what happens here. I'm going to go hard and see what happens. I'm going to push myself to the max. And, and I know people personally that have passed away from triathlons. So it's like, it's not, it's more like, it's an interesting thing to think about is your body can do a lot, right? It's an amazing machine, but at the end of the day, your heart's your heart. Like you have to listen to what your body says. So I love that you listened. You said, yeah, I'm backing off, dude. Like I can't sustain that pace because unfortunately, a lot of people don't listen to their bodies. They just keep going. They push through. Their heart rate's at 180 and they know, it's a little bit too high. I should slow down. They don't slow down. Mm-hmm. And, it's like, well, that is a real risk, right? Like you can't just push through that because, heat stroke, heat exhaustion. But more than that, your heart can just shut down. It can say, no, I have no more. And that happens a lot, actually, in long distance endurance events or all these crazy things that people do. I'm like, Goggins, that's so good because you explained it well. Like you took a strategic approach, right? I think that's the bigger deal. Strategically, you thought about it like, I got to do this. My pace has to change. My heart's this. I have to slow down. Yeah. That's so important, right? In any event. I mean, I talk about this stuff with other events and, in a football game, there's strategy. In a track and field event, there's a strategy, right? And the one that can be a great athlete and have a strategy, it's like, that's so cool to hear you say this stuff. So,
well, I think it helps too. Like that I knew that this race was about training and calibrating for the full, right? So like, I wasn't out there to try to, it was my first time doing one. So I was like, first and foremost, just survive. And second of all, try to like pick a pace where if you had to do a full today, you have a shot at finishing it.
I like that.
Because I was like, I wanted to, on the run, I was like, again, I got off the bike. I'm like, I'm in a lot of pain right now. Like, how am I going to make it through this? I'm like, find a pace that you can do on mile 1 that you're also going to be doing on mile 13. Yeah. So for me, it was like, I could have tried to come out and run 10-minute miles. I would have been not holding that pace, right? And I kind of knew after about a mile, I was like, okay, I can do a 12-minute mile between walking and running. And I think I can hold that for the full length. Yeah. And then like trying to imagine in my head, like, could I do this for a full 26? And I felt like when I finished, I could have done that for another half if I
had
to.
more.
Yeah, I could have done that pacing. And honestly, there was at one point during it, I was like, I feel like I can hold this pace forever, like indefinitely. And that was kind of the goal, right? It was like find a pace that I could do for as long as, for just forever, right? Because that's really my goal for the first Ironman is like, find something that I can just sustain indefinitely. And so, it was a good like experience in that way. And I'm just excited to keep doing them.
Yeah.
Cause it's fun. I mean, when you finish it, you're like, it's fun to look back and be like, hey, what can I improve? What do I need to lock in on? And it's super motivating to actually do one.
Yeah.
And to actually feel that race energy and kind of learn how you react, how you respond to the different situations. Yeah. And I definitely learned also, like on that bike for the full, I'm going to have to take it slower because my legs were starting to cramp. Like if I had to do 112 miles biking in that heat, I don't know. The second half of that bike would have been really hard.
Okay.
So that's another one, is just going slower on the bike. But yeah, the next 7 weeks is going to be just hammer running, get as good as I can at running in a month. And then whatever happens in Madison happens in Madison, and then kind of take that as the next data point and push forward.
I love all this though. I mean, I don't even know if you realize you have such good strategy though. I think that's what I'm trying to say to you is like, you decided, even though you're competitive, let me take some strategy into this and make sure that I understand why I'm doing this race. And I think a lot of people, that's what happens is they're just like, I'm trying to win. Well, it's like, that's cool, but you should probably have like a good plan and like just like follow the plan as much as you need. Yeah. If you are at the top of the podium, great. I mean, because most people are like you, Goggins, where I'm thinking, hey, let's get to the finish line and feel okay the next day. Don't get injured. Be smart about it long term. Do it for the right reasons, right? And if it becomes you're competitive at it, that's great. But maybe it should first be about I'm getting healthier. Maybe it first should be I am having fun and I just enjoy this, right? Versus I'm trying to win. Because if you're trying to win, I don't know. It's like you could definitely drive yourself into the ground a little bit with this stuff. Yeah. Right. And I think it's like, it's really cool. The zone 2 stuff is good. And, zone 2, if people don't know, it's kind of a varying heart rate for people. So, for you, Goggins, what is yours? About 150 is the max your zone 2.
Yeah. My dream scenario would be like
Tell me about
145.
145. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I can't. There's not really any running pace where I can hold 145 forever.
But if in your ideal world, 145, that's where you want to be. Yeah.
Yeah. One day. That's my ultimate goal. Get to a place where I can actually run at a 145.
Yeah. So there's a few ways to calculate that. Zone 2, 2 different ways. Like you could just take your estimated max heart rate. And, for most people, it's 220 minus their age is close. For others, that's not even close. So it's very dependent on the person. But you can take that number and then you can do 60 to 70%. That's around your zone 2. Mm-hmm. For Matt, like he's saying, he's not as efficient at running, so his zone 2 is different than his biking and swimming, right? And I think a lot of people fall into that, right? Running is a full body exercise. So your heart rate's driven up higher and quicker, and it's just more difficult, right? Because biking, your arms are doing something, but they're just kind of isometrically there doing a hold. So that's why running's so hard. Is your blood flow, your body, everything's doing something, right? There's no break, right? Swimming's a little bit easier efficiency wise, also a difficult exercise, but again, your heart rate's not driven as high, so much easier to hold zone 2, right? Is that kind of what you feel?
Yeah. It's 100% true. Although I will say in Boise, because of the heat, my heart rate on the bike was like way higher than it ever was in training.
Because of heat.
I think it was like purely because of heat. Because I was hitting like the same speeds I would in training, and I was like 160.
Okay.
Which was kind of I looked down at my watch a couple times. I was kind of surprised by how high it was. But also I think because I waited for so long to start, I was a little bit of like reckless abandon on the start of the bike. I was like, I just have so much pent up energy. Yeah. I just want to see like what's the max, like how fast can I average on the first hour? Yeah. And I held like the first hour I went like 22 miles an hour. And that was honestly like for me, it was like, I was like, okay, this is going to probably screw up the rest of my race, but like,
you felt good about it.
Like, I just want to see for an hour, how fast can I average? Yeah. So that was kind of fun to just try to push it all out and then, figure it out after that.
That was probably good for you to try and just see what happens. And you felt good about it. You're like, okay, I guess that teaches me for Madison what I should do. Right.
Yeah. And that's part of it too. Cause like this is something I want to do long-term, not just one race. Yeah. And so it's fun to like try to figure out those things of like get new kind of checkpoints. Like, hey, I can go this fast for this long. Yeah. And I feel like that's how you actually build to a point where you can do that speed forever, as you like kind of figure out how to work your way into it. Yeah. So it's fun to kind of experiment with some of that stuff.
Yeah. All right. So you have Madison as a full. is your goal to be like, okay, my next event after that is a running marathon only? Or
I think I do want to do a marathon after it, just because that is so clearly my weakest of the three. It would be fun to do like a marathon early next year.
Yeah.
And then kind of take it from there. But it's also like, I think now that I'm getting to this fitness point, I think that it'll be a lot easier to just sustain it. Like I think with 30-40% as much training time, I'll be able to kind of sustain this and also just focus on more like speed work for a bit just to get faster at these things before I kind of go back for the distance stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be, I don't know. It's fun to experiment with. It's fun to have it like I think the whole time that I was like training for this Ironman thing, you kind of look at it as like, I'm training for a destination. Like I'm training to do it. I want to say like I did the Ironman, it's done. But then as you get further into it and once you kind of start with the actual races, you realize you're not training for like a destination, you're training for a lifestyle. Cause like once you do the Ironman, it's not that you like, oh, I did an Ironman. It's like, hey, I've built a life where I can do this much fitness. I've learned how to build my schedule so that I can do this as part of my life. I've learned how to kind of make it actually feel good and energizing. And I've learned how to like be an Ironman, not like do an Ironman, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's what I'm like very grateful to carry forward once I'm done with this is like, not just that I did an Ironman, but like that I've become someone that can work that hard at something and still have a full life outside of it and continue to, get energy by trying to like improve on the different parts of it. That's so cool. It's fun. Like I feel like I've kind of and like you were saying kind of how it's easy to get, focus on like winning or competing or being the best.
Yeah.
I'm also just grateful. Like I'm at a point in my life where like, I don't have to win these things, right? Like, there's no reason I have to be the best. But you can just do it for like the love of the sport. So like, I feel like I'm in a phase right now where like every time I go do a workout, like I fall more in love with the actual, like just the actual activity, like with the sport itself, which has been really fun. Like I never thought I'd like running. I never thought I'd like biking, and I'm not even doing them particularly well, but it's like, I've done enough that they've become these kind of like acquired tastes. Like they're hobbies now that I enjoy. And then I just really am having like more and more fun each day, like just trying to get better at them. And I feel like that's the big thing too. Like once you get to a point where you can do the distance, you can complete the race. Now you just have like an open field of like, hey, now I can just get better at it. Like I no longer have to worry about, can I finish? Instead, I can be like, how can I get better at it? Right. Like, it's kind of like once you get the job, you can then figure out how to do the job well. It's like, I feel like I'm getting over that hurdle of like being qualified to actually do one. And now I can actually try to figure out how to get better at it.
No, it makes perfect sense. I mean, it's fun that you're falling in love with all of it too, the process of it and everything. I mean, that's what usually leads people to, I'm great at this sport or I'm great at this job or whatever they're great at. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, they weren't really like, I'm seeing it with my kids and it's like, if they love what they're doing, because I don't ever talk about, hey, you're going to college to do this. Like, is this why you're, no, they just want to do it because they really love it. They love going to this basketball thing or they love, whatever it may be. You go down the list. It's like, if you can get yourself to be in that mindset of like, kind of like back when you're a kid and you're just like trying to pick all these different things that you enjoy, you're not doing any of it to try to be the best or earn money or, these kids, they don't know any of that stuff. Mm-hmm. I like that because then I look at my kids and I'm like, that's why they want to do that because they love it. And they are purely like, they're happy about that, and how many people that become the greatest at anything they're doing, that's really where it starts, right? It's like, it doesn't start because someone said, you need to go make $1 million, right? You might make $1 million because you love something and it becomes something great. But you never should start something because you just think you're going to make a lot of money. Because I think that's where people go wrong with the choices they make is like, well, that job would make me a lot of money, so I'm going to do that. Mm-hmm. No, did you fall in love with the process of becoming that? Did you fall in love with all the things you had to do to get there? Yeah. Because I actually know a lot of athletes who got full rides. They get the 4 years paid for, and they hated the sport they're in. I'm like, I totally do understand like why you're doing that financially. Do I understand why you're doing that from the other ends of greatness? No, like that makes no sense. Why did you waste all your effort on something you didn't even want to do? Right? Yeah. Like why are you? That's what I don't understand about a lot of things in our world. But That's a different subject, but but Goggins, I just love that, if you're saying that, man, that's so cool. So
yeah, I mean, I'm really grateful for it because it's like I can go out there and whatever the time is that I race or whatever other people's perception is, like, I don't really care just because I enjoy doing it. Since like I had a lot of fun on Saturday, waking up at 3 a.m. and working out for 6 hours and then continuing on. Like it just makes everything else more enjoyable. So it's fun. I highly recommend them. Like anyone who's thinking about doing any kind of race or triathlon. I mean, it applies to hobbies in general. Like just try it. A lot of these things too that seem so overwhelming, they're really, you just got to break them down and just find people that have done it, talk to them, do some research, and then just like put yourself out there and give it a shot. When I started, I couldn't swim more than 50 yards. I've never been a good runner. Like I've never been a fast runner my whole life. Yeah. I couldn't, I'd never really biked. And you just start doing it, and then who knows where it'll take you.
You just check the box, man, and you're falling in love with it, which is like more amazing, right? Because it's, it's like more like what the future looks like for you is like, wait a second, I kind of like want to do more of this stuff. I want to feel what that felt like to finish, right? And,
and like even how, I mean, you get it's such a fun thing. Like you get the adrenaline rush, you get the race day, you get all of the intensity and all the fun of that. But even just like in how I feel on like a random weekday,
you just feel better. Yeah. Everything's better.
Yeah, everything is better. And what's cool about it is it's like I'm not even at the limit, right? Like I'm just starting this. I already feel so much better. And like you kind of start to realize like, man, if I keep this up, I think this is just going to compound. Like I'm going to keep feeling better. I'm going to keep feeling more energized. I'm going to keep feeling, less reactive to stuff. It's really good for you, to just train yourself into this place where you just don't feel like there's any challenge you can't do, and you don't feel like, intimidated by stuff. I think that's the biggest thing is like just you lose the intimidation factor of a challenge. Like before I started doing the Ironman, there would be ideas or like concepts that would just sound like so much work that I wouldn't really take them seriously. Cause it's like, oh yeah, right. Like I'm ever going to be the guy that does the Ironman or that builds his own company or that, does whatever it is. Maybe one day raise a kid, raise a family. Like it's so much work, or like does this project on my house. That's so much work.
Yeah.
But then you start doing it and you're like, it is a lot of work, but you can figure out how to fall in love with the process, and you can figure out how to do it in a way that is sustainable and is repeated, and you can really actually enjoy the whole process. And then, next thing you know, you're no longer making decisions to avoid work. You're making it because you enjoy the work.
I love that.
So,
you want to finish there, Goggins? That was beautiful.
Yeah, we can wrap it up.
Too easy.